What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl JD here, back with another video. So I'm probably gonna look really golden today because my foundation, let's just say I've been getting a lot paler because of the winter months, and yeah, it's not really matching all that well. It's like I need to get a new foundation, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But either way, so today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind season 6. I think this is going to be a recap of episodes 11 and 12. So 11 was pretty much where they were getting ready to get to the altar and having those, you know, interesting conversations in some ways. And also they were having like some last minute dates and still trying to get to know each other leading up to getting married possibly. And then in episode 12 we're going to be seeing who actually decides to go ahead and get married. So let's start with episode 11. Okay, let's talk about what transpired before we actually get to the altar. I'm also going to be taking out my braids that I've had in for God knows how long at this point. I have been meaning to take it down the next day after doing it, but the weekend just got so chaotic that it just didn't happen. Okay, so in my last recap, I mentioned that Kenneth and Brittany are no more. At least, was it my last one? I can't remember. But either way, it's just been so many videos I can't keep up. But one of those recaps, Kenneth and Brittany, they are no longer a couple, it seems. But I did see something recently on TikTok and I'm very confused. So we will see what happens probably in the reunion afterwards. But as of right now, that's all I know. They're no longer a couple and we don't see them anymore. Also, same goes for Laura and Jeremy, which was bound to happen because Jeremy was a slimy person. I even found out that Jeremy might have been engaged before he got onto the show. Like as they were casting, he was actually engaged. So y'all confirmed that with me, but that was something that I saw. And I also saw that Trevor, believe it or not, was also another person engaged as he was trying to get onto the show to meet somebody else. And I'm just like, what is going on? Where are y'all finding these men? Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, those are two couples that have disintegrated. They are no longer, and honestly, I saw it coming for both of them. But Kenneth and Brittany, that one was a little bit more like, what the heck was that? In episode 11, like I mentioned already, they actually go on some last minute dates, try to have some fun, kind of get over the nerves, you know? This is where things get kind of annoying, at least for me. When it comes to Chelsea and, what's his face again? Chelsea and Jimmy. So I think that I spoke about in my last recap how Jimmy and Chelsea, they got into an argument after she had met his parents and everything seemed to be okay, but she ended up kind of telling him that she feels really uncomfortable with him going out. And then also with regards to him having female friends, but he was like, you've never asked me to pull away or step away from that friendship or friendships. You never asked me. And she was like, I mean, I told you many times I feel uncomfortable, like, could you step away? And he's just like, well, I'm not willing to. It was just such a stupid conversation to me. Like, it was so pointless. I don't know why he even said that. You know you're not gonna step away from that friendship. But what makes me uncomfortable for Chelsea in this moment is the fact that we find out that Jimmy actually had a sexual relationship with one of his female friends. And I'm just like, that's a little problematic for me, okay? Especially if you're gonna be hanging out around this woman all the time and I have to trust that your relationship is now dead. Like that sexual thing that you guys had going on is no longer a thing. And he's basically telling Chelsea that, you know, you either need to be okay with that or this is not gonna work out. And I'm just like, Chelsea, honey, walk away. Don't get me wrong, Chelsea has her issues too, but I think Jimmy does not know what he wants. I don't even know why a lot of these men were on this show, Jimmy included. You know you weren't ready for this type of commitment. I don't know why you're here. Okay, I really don't. But what gets me is that in this episode, we see them go on this date to Carowinds. I think that's the name of the theme park in Charlotte, right? North Carolina. I remember I went there with my family a little while ago. It was actually really fun. Can't remember the ride that we went on. It was probably one of the tallest ones. I think Chelsea and Jimmy ended up going on it as well in the episode. They're having a good time, it seems, right? And Jimmy's just like, yeah, you know, I always gonna have a good time with Chelsea and I really love her and I feel like I didn't make a mistake and I chose her and I'm backing that decision 100%. But when they finally have a conversation, they finally get a chance to sit down and talk. Jimmy asks her where she's at in terms of what she might possibly say at the altar. Yo, this scene, oh my god, I had to replay this a couple of times when I watched it because I was like, this man is wild. He's wild for this. So he's getting her all excited, you know, because he's just like, you know, like, what would you say? Like, you know, basically she's just like, you know, I haven't really thought about it, but I think ultimately that this relationship could result in marriage at the end of the day, right? I could see myself saying yes to you at the altar. Here's the kicker. Here is the kicker, yo. This man sees that she is actually kind of ecstatic by the thought of just getting to the altar and saying yes to this man. You know what he says? He turns around after smiling in her face. Smiling in her face because she would say yes to him. He turns around and says, well, I don't really feel like I'm ready for that. I don't think I can say yes. I don't think I could get married right now. So not only is he saying no, but basically he doesn't even want to get married right now. And I'm just like, Jimmy, why are you here? There's another person that we're going to talk about shortly. It's only 2 more couples after Jimmy and Chelsea that we're going to have to discuss that actually make it to the altar, but we're going to get there. So again, why is he here? Why? I understand his reservations because Chelsea is a little unhinged. I do think she was being a little ridiculous in that previous episode, telling him that she doesn't really want to be with someone that is going to be going out. And I'm just like, I mean, I can understand if he's going out all the time, but if he's just going to like birthdays here and there and like a little outing with his friends every now and again, why is that a problem? So yeah, I think she might have some issues with being just a little clingy, like Jimmy said. I hate to agree with that man, but in that case, in that instance, I think I might have to. I do think Chelsea could be a little much. So I can understand why he is a little hesitant, but at the same time, it's just like, it was just so irritating to watch. I'm not gonna lie, it was so irritating because he really got her excited, and that kind of made me mad because she was actually like being vulnerable and was like, yeah, you know, I think we could still make this work. And he's just getting her all hyped up about it, all to really just come at the end of it and just knock the wind out of her sails by being like, I don't even want to get married. I'm just like, wow. So yeah, after literally going wedding dress shopping with all the other girls, she's not even going to be walking down the aisle. So yeah, Jimmy and Chelsea are no longer a couple as well. Okay, so in the next couple of scenes, we see that the other couples are going on their little dates. I think Clay and AD did some type of sneaker. It could do like art and stuff with like markers and whatnot on sneakers. I don't remember what Johnny and Amy did, but either way, they finally have their bachelorette and bachelor parties. And there's only 2 couples, so it's only 2 women and 2 men. So they have their friends, they go to, you know, they're joined. Well, not joined, I'm saying that wrong. But basically the 2 girls, they have their bachelorette with their friends together, and the 2 guys and their friends have their bachelor party together. I mean, nothing really wild happens at either of these parties because obviously they do have to make it fit for TV. But regardless, it seemed like they were having an okay time. They were taking pictures and whatnot. The guys were a little bit more boring than the women, I'm not gonna lie. But I know at my bachelorette party, I mean, nothing really like super wild is gonna happen, but I know I definitely, you know, we're gonna have a good time. So regardless, it sounds like from the ladies, they're kind of set on what they're going to say. And with the guys, it seemed like Johnny was set on what he was gonna say, but with Clay, he still again seemed so shaky, but was trying so hard to buy into everything that was going on, and that he was just going to get to the altar and really say yes. And you know, like he was trying to convince himself almost of being okay with saying yes at the altar. So it was really bizarre. But either way, the next day we get to the weddings in the next episode, episode 12. At least I think it might have been the next day. I don't know. It might have been a couple days. Who knows? But either way, they get to the weddings and everybody's getting ready. And Clay and AD go first. And I was kind of upset that Clay's dad, the one that he kept talking about throughout the entire show, being a cheater, a serial cheater when it came to his mom, and he was the reason why their marriage failed after like 20 plus years. he kept bringing that up as the reason as to why he wasn't sure if he was going to say yes to AD at the altar. And this was the person that he let talk to him before he got to the altar. I was so confused by that. I was like, I understand this is your dad, but you have to have another male figure in your life that would give you better advice when it comes to marriage. Because why would you take it from him? Why would you take advice from this man? You literally, again, kept saying he ruined his marriage to your mother. Why would you take any marriage advice at all, or relationship advice in general, from this man? Like, make it make sense. So yeah, he was the one that kind of gave him like that pre-wedding pep talk. And his mom tried to whisper a few things in his ear at the beginning of the wedding when he was walking down to get to the altar. And I was like, at this point, there's no saving. There's no saving this. Honestly, I knew what was gonna happen. I already knew. As soon as I saw his dad give him a weird little pep talk, I was like, yeah, this man is probably not going to say yes. But I still held out a little hope. I really did. But we get to AD and they're having a pretty nice little girl powwow with her sisters and her bridesmaids and friends. And her mom, you know, they're exchanging, you know how they do like the something blue, something old, something new type of thing. She gave her this necklace that I think belonged to her grandmother or great grandmother, and it was like passed down through the family. So I thought that was really nice. I actually have a lot of things from, at least my mom had given me from my grandmother, that I'll probably give to my daughter as well in the future, just to continue to pass down something. She was so excited and she looked so beautiful and she looked great in her dress. But we get to the wedding and she doesn't have anyone walk her down the aisle, so I was a little sad by that. I know she said her dad passed away, but I think she said she was close to her brothers, so I was expecting at least, you know, like one of her brothers to walk her down the aisle, but I guess maybe they didn't want to be filmed, or maybe something fell through, I don't know. But either way, she walked down the aisle by herself. And I was kind of still holding out hope when she got to the altar, and she said yes, right? She said yes to Clay. Clay. So Clay turns to AD and he could tell that she is so in love with him. And to be honest, I'm probably sure you guys are probably looking at them along with me and trying to figure out like why she sees so much potential in him when he's probably like a flight at risk, or showed us that he was a flight at risk this entire season. But regardless, she was in love with him. I could see that he liked her, like really liked her, but I didn't see love just yet. One thing I forgot to mention, when she came up to the altar, y'all, the first thing this man says is, okay, body. Remember when I said at like probably episode 3 or 4, I don't know, but remember when they were on their little vacation with all the other couples? Remember when I said it seems like a lustful relationship more than anything else? It seems more physical with Clay. It doesn't seem that deep. I was hoping that it was going to change, but the fact that he said that, and that was the first thing that he says as she's walking towards him at an altar. They're about to possibly get married, and that's the first thing you say is, okay, body? I would have turned around and walked back. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, let's try this again. I would give you one more shot. Because that is wild. That is really wild. I understand, yes, you're trying to compliment someone. Okay, whatever. But the fact that that's the first thing that you think of is her body. Like, really, my guy? I understand that she looked good, but it's like at a wedding? Don't get me started, but we're gonna move on. I'm gonna try to move on, child. So either way, she finally, like I said already, she answers, she says yes, in love with this man. And you could see it in her eyes. She's looking at him, waiting on his answer. And this man turns to her and says, I think it's gonna be irresponsible of me, even after getting to know you, it's gonna be irresponsible of me to say yes to you right now, and for us to actually get married when I'm not ready to be a husband. AD looks at him with the most confusion and still love. You could see love in her eyes still, but so confused. But I was confused as to why she was confused. When this man literally was prepping her this entire time, he was literally trying to get her ready for him to say no to her at the altar. He knew she was gonna say yes. He knew it. He knew it. But I think he was trying his hardest to sow so many seeds of doubt this entire season, and she wasn't picking up on it. And it's just so sad. It's so sad. And she was just looking at him like, what the hell is going on, Clay? Like, what is this? What is this? Everyone's looking around just as confused as she is. You could see her start to cry. And I felt so bad for her in that moment because I was like, wow, again, I don't know why they be putting people through this. You know, in terms of the whole altar thing, it's embarrassing, especially if someone just says no. I understand in terms of the entertainment factor, you're trying to make it as suspenseful as possible to see their answer. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's so sad to watch. So after that, Clay's just like, why does it matter the timing? I'm like, Clay, why does it matter? Why that? What? You are at the altar. Again, why are you on the show if you are not ready to be a husband? If you are not ready to be married? Where did they find these men? Oh my God. These last several seasons, actually all of these seasons besides season 1. Like, what the hell is this? Where are y'all finding these people at? Anyway, he's just like, yeah, why does the timing matter? And I'm like, you are at the altar, sir. You had so much time to tell her that you did not want to do this, that you weren't ready. I understand, again, that he was sowing seeds of doubt, but he was never clear. Never clear. He just kept saying things like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to disappoint you. I don't want to let you down. Like, you know, the craziest thing happens next when AD basically turns around to her friends and family and it's just like, y'all ready to go? Like, let's wrap this up. Like, she just handled that like a G. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow. But yeah, me and my boyfriend was talking about that whole situation with Clay just the other night. I got him into that show as well and I was like, ha ha ha. But yeah, he was just like, that's the wildest thing to say to someone at an altar. Why does the timing matter? Like, really? So they go back. AD, she needs some time alone, obviously, because that's a very emotional time. And she's just like, you know, I feel like I'm always the person that's never picked. I'm never good enough. And I felt really bad for her in that moment because I can understand when you do get rejected so many times, you feel like you put so much of yourself and poured so much of yourself into a relationship, all for that person to just turn around and be like, nope, peace out, you know, or tell you no. Like, it's really kind of just gut-wrenching. Clay, he comes in and he tries to talk to her and he's just like, I love you, you know, I'm not saying that I'm giving up on this relationship. It's just that I don't want to get married right now. I'm not ready for that. But I'm like, again, Clay, why are you on this show? Why are you on the show, sir? That's the part that angers me so much. The fact that you literally got up on there after several weeks of being with this person, getting to know them. You knew that the ending was going to be like, basically marriage, if you had said yes. But now you're saying you're not ready for marriage at all? What? So he tries to talk to her and you could clearly see that she's not hearing it. And I don't blame her because, like, pretty much now everything you said to me, it was kind of like, wow, why didn't I see that you really weren't ready? But at the same time, he wasn't clear. He was not clear. He did not come out at any point and say, listen, I'm not ready for this. He waited. He waited. That's the part that gets me. He waited when he had literally so many opportunities to be like, I really don't think I can do this. I am not ready. So everything he said, honestly, just went in one ear and out the next. Because I was like, sir, like, please take your buffoonery somewhere else. I was just getting so annoyed with him, man. But at the same time, I was like, I knew this was gonna happen. I was just waiting. I know that sounds so unfortunate to say, but really though, I was waiting because I knew she was gonna say yes, which is why I was hoping maybe Clay had answered first. But usually they ask the women first, so I was like, ugh, okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's how that went. I did see a TikTok recently that seems as though they might still be dating, but at the end of that episode, she did say that she wasn't going to be seeing him anymore. But if they are seeing each other, I'm like, well, I guess that was a lie. But yeah, I just don't see how, if he's not ready at this point, if he would ever be ready. I don't know if that's going to work out, even if they do continue to date each other. But in this reunion, I did see like a clip. They did have a trailer And I think he does say that, you know, he feels as though he made a mistake when it came to AD. But I don't know what that was like in connection to exactly, so we're going to see. But what gets me though is that at the end, when they did the little singular interview with, you know, Clay, what gets me is this man has the audacity to say, I didn't really understand the seriousness of my decision with AD at the altar, telling her no. And I'm just like, what do you mean you didn't understand the seriousness? What do you mean, Clay? Really? You are about to get married. This woman says yes to getting married to you and you tell her no and you didn't understand how that was going to impact her? In front of her friends and family? And on television? You know this is being filmed, right? Okay. Anyways, let's move on to Johnny and Amy. They were probably the only couple that the entire time they were pretty steady. They never really had much going on in terms of arguments and whatnot. I do hope they work out whatever they need to work out when it comes to having kids. I'm a little worried though because they talk about having kids, but at the same time, Johnny is really afraid of having kids. So I'm kind of confused. I'm like, do y'all want kids or do y'all not want kids? Like, you know, like, when do y'all want kids? Like, it was so confusing, the timeline. I was like, the fact that y'all saying yes to each other and haven't really seemingly figured that out yet. But anyways, I'm hoping she gets on birth control and maybe that would just, you know, help them to figure out or give them some more time to figure out what they need to figure out. But they say yes to each other. They have their little party and whatnot. Families getting to mix and mingle. I'm happy for them, but I really wish that AD got her happy ending. Like, even if it wasn't with Clay, with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I knew Clay was a flight at risk from the moment she got with him in the pods. I knew he was going to be a little problematic. I'm just going to be real. Anyways, I'm going to finish taking these braids out and then I'm going to come back and wrap up this video. So just give me one quick second. All right, y'all. So I am back and all the braids are out and I'm really liking this braid out. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if I had done this when it was like super fresh, it probably would have looked a little better and a little bit more defined, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I am obsessed with it. I watch too much TikTok. Anyways, basically, I was not really all that surprised by the outcome of the weddings and even what transpired before the weddings when it came to Jimmy and Chelsea and all the other couples leading up to these last two episodes. Not surprised in the slightest. But you guys let me know what your thoughts are with regards to it and also like how y'all felt with those wild moments. But I am definitely going to be making a separate video for this reunion when it finally comes out. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.